Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to NOLA Theater Talk. My name is Alan Smason. Glad to be here with you. We broadcast on the NOLA Theater Talk Facebook group. We also broadcast to the theatercriticism.com Facebook page. And again, the YouTube channel that I have that I'm happy to host. Again, we're glad to have you. It's been a little bit of time since the last time we got together. One of the reasons is that I've been extremely busy. And before I bring in our guests, just want everybody to know that we are indeed planning a very important live theater awards show that is now going to be made possible by a grant from the New Orleans Theater Association. We want to thank them for their generous grant to make it happen. But the Crescent City Theater Awards coming up on Monday, November the 17th. That's Monday, November the 17th. And this will be the first time to honor the local theater community best of what happened in 2024. And we say that we're not going back to 2022 or 2021, and we can't do 2023. It's just too late. Sorry. But the former Big Easy Awards, which are no more, we are trying to replace them and trying to essentially honor the people who are on stage or maybe working backwards, backstage, making, in terms of providing support to the people on the stage, lighting and some of the other stuff we're going to be getting to in our next award show. But the basic awards, we're going to give out 12 for things like featured actor, featured actress in a musical or in a play, and best play, best musical. Those are the sorts of things. We also are going to be honoring Kelly Fushi as our Theater Educator of the Year award recipient, as well as our Lifetime Achievement Award recipient, who will be Ricky Graham. So if you like Kelly Fushi and the work she does at Rivertown Theaters as the artistic director there, if you like Ricky Graham, who does so much great work and has done so many unbelievable pieces through the many, many decades he's been working on stages here in New Orleans, and you want to honor him and Kelly, or perhaps you just want to, go on and root for some of the people who you've seen on stage back in 2024. And the nominees are all up on our Facebook page right now. We're going to be, hopefully posting to a website soon, but we're just getting started. So just give us a little bit of time to get started and make this a really meaningful Theater Awards presentation, a live event for the benefit of the New Orleans theater community. So I hope everybody will be out there doing that. So I put that plug in. Now I'm going to go to get to where we are supposed to be tonight. And don't worry about that. We're not going to take away any of her time. We're going to add to it. So we know we went about 3 minutes into that to do that. So I want everybody to know that I'm very delighted to bring back one of my favorite guests. And she knows that I've known her a long time, back in the day, back when she used to work at Le Chat Noir, back when she used to be on stage with the New Orleans Opera, a great cabaret performer in her own right, who went to Yale for the cabaret conference that they have at least have had in the past. I'm not quite sure if they're doing it again. We'll find out maybe a little bit about that later. But Anaïs St. welcome once again to the program.
Thank you, Alan.
Anaïs, you are again going to be talking about a show coming up at BB Stage Door Canteen, and people can see the name emblazoned just above you there. BB Stage Door Canteen last year did the same show, but again, one of the problems in putting on a show over the course of a weekend or two is that a lot of times people don't get a chance to see it and they miss it, and then they regret it. So the National World War II Museum obviously figured that there was a lot of benefit to having this put on. It's sort of in their wheelhouse, as it were, with stories about World War II. And it's in your wheelhouse in terms of the way that you present it, curate it. And again, you and Harry Marone and a couple of other players are on the stage. We'll talk a little bit about them as well. We've got some pictures to show and support. But the first, I guess the first and most important thing is to we're going to throw up a little bit of a picture there to see. This is Josephine Baker. It's called From Creole Goddess to Siren of the Resistance. And again, Anaïs, you were very influential in terms of putting this on. I assume that when you go to BB's Stage Door Canteen, to the entertainment director there, or some of the other people that might be there. I know, obviously, we've got Erica Jensen, who's the Bob Hope entertainment director there, and you've got Mona Nazrahi, who's her right hand, or if you say assistant, and you've got people who are working there. Whoever it is that's in charge, or whoever, you got to go to them and say, hey, I got a show. And not only do you have a show, it has to do with World War II. What's more perfect than that, right? So
Exactly.
is it easier to do it the second time around, or now that they know what it is, or is it still difficult?
It's absolutely easier. It's easier because for me, I'm getting to revisit incredible.
Okay, you said you weren't frozen, but you are freezing. So either you're freezing up or I'm freezing up. I'm not quite sure what.
Okay.
Go ahead, say it again. It's easier.
It's definitely easier because I'm revisiting the beautiful script written by Denise Altobello. So as I'm relearning the script, it's coming back to me so easily. And as far as being able to bring it back at the World War II Museum, I'm so excited because initially, right after the run, it was such a great run, sold out performances the entire weekend. I was like, let's do it again. Let's do it again. But, it's not, they plan out the show so far in advance. I was foolishly under the impression that I could come back immediately, but it's been, 2 years? The last time I presented it was March of 2023. But I think that the word is out, and I know saw it the first, excited for telling other people about it. And now we finally have the chance to present it again at this incredible place.
So again, for those of you who do not know, Josephine Baker was an American who, of course, as many Black performers of her day, found that the United States was maybe not the best place to practice her trade. She actually went as what they call an expatriate. She went to Europe to perform, and she was absolutely, given tumultuous applause and all kinds of reviews that hailed her as a great export for the United States, and she became a great celebrity. I assume she spoke fluent French at that point. She must have had to learn it, right?
She learned it eventually. I believe that it was a process, but eventually she learned French fluently, which is also incredible.
And again, one of the things about Josephine Baker is she was somewhat scantily clad. You could probably get away with that more in France than you could in the United States. In the United States, they probably have people, who would be boycotting the shows or whatever. But in France, you could get away with that. They had the tradition of the burlesque and, the White Horse Saloon, those sorts of things, the Folies Bergère. So they could get away with a little bit more of it than you could in the United States. But one of the historical photos that you have here, this is her doing I think it's the banana dance, isn't that right?
That's right. That is the epic banana dance. I think four.
Go ahead and say again, Anaïs. The banana dance.
The sauvage, the savage dance, where we call it the banana dance, but it was the first time anyone had dared to, especially a woman of color, to do a dance so raw, so real, and then barely clad, as you can see, with the bananas dangling and her breast showing, and barely anything on them except for a few beads. But it was real, it was savage, as they said, and it caught the attention of the European audience for sure. They were enthralled by it. They may have never seen anything quite in real, because she was.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit. I'm sorry to say. I'm only coming through. I apologize. I don't know if it's my internet or yours, but it seems to be
my internet. It has all the bars, so I'm not sure what's happening. But she was able to present sexuality, but also with a comic flair to it. So you had this combination of sexy, but also comical, and that's what part of her charm was from.
And again, part of this show is not only just to talk about her fame as a performer on the stage in Europe, in France, etc., the toast of Paris, as it were, but also because she was still there during the time that the Nazis took over in Germany, the time that they invaded France and took over, the whole of France and ran Vichy, etc. So the question was what she, as an American, would do in that situation. And again, I know we have a couple of the historic photos. Again, this is one from her days, probably in the 20s. It looks like very young.
Sure.
Looks like a flapper. Looks like she's having a good time in the jazz age, as it were.
Right.
Think about it, but these photos are probably 100 years old, right?
They are, yes.
Yeah. So and again, so she was in France during World War II, and she actually ended up becoming a resistance fighter. Now that
right.
is in what uniform is she wearing there?
That is the uniform of the Free French. She was awarded with the Gold Cross of Lorraine, and she was a member of the French, the Free French.
And again, they fought the Nazis. But now, was she during that time? Had she left Paris? Were they looking for her? Did they know that she was?
She was actually using her chateau in France as a place to hide Jewish refugees and French resistance fighters. She had this space, this safe space, and she would also travel to many places, hiding secret messages in her lingerie and on sheet music. So I was able to have sort of because she was nobody. She would be carrying important information, because who would think this Black woman, this celebrity, this singer, no one even thought that she could have the wherewithal to do anything like that. And that's part of how she was able to get away with it.
Okay. Well, as I said, we are really delighted to have you here to talk about the show. Josephine Baker, from Creole Goddess to Siren of the Resistance. And as we always do, we always invite everybody to come in, because this show started during the pandemic. We always have a little toast of something. This tonight, I wanted to get something a little spicy. Josephine Baker was a little spicy, a little hot, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to take it, but we'll see. This is Fireball.
Woo!
Made famous by the cinnamon whiskey, made famous by the people, I think, with the Sazerac company. And Anaïs, you have a French
a Pinot Noir. Cheers, Alan.
Not bad. I'm afraid
Are you a fan of Fireball, Alan?
Not as much as I should be, probably.
Wonderful.
Follow it with a little water chaser. So let's get on with the show. Tell me a little bit about for those who haven't seen it yet. Tell me a little bit about the musical part of the show. Harry Marone, of course, is playing the piano, and I know that you've got a couple other people who are providing the musical background. Before we get into that, though, you did mention Denise Altobello.
That's right.
There's a photo of you and Denise, and it just goes to show not only how short she is, but how tall you are.
Well, she has a very large and tall personality. But I am also wearing heels in that picture, so it's kind of an unfair advantage.
I've got pictures of you and me, and it's the same thing.
Yeah. So Denise is a dear friend and an incredible writer, and this is the second script she's written for me to perform. The first one was Lulu White, Queen of Storyville. This script is so beautifully written. It's really sensitive to this incredible woman, and it's charming and funny, and it's very sensitive. Towards the second act, I know many people were crying. It's just a moving, beautiful adaptation of the life of this incredible woman, and I'm ever so grateful to Denise for trusting me with her script. It's very different. It's cabaret, but it's scripted cabaret. And as I go through her life, I use songs. Some of them are Josephine Baker songs, some are not. Some are from musical theater. I use I Am What I Am from La Cage aux Folles, and I use Non, je ne regrette rien for the finale. And I use the Marseillaise, the French national anthem. But there are two songs that are specifically Josephine Baker songs. Her signature chanson, J'ai deux amours, which means I have two loves, one of which is America and the other is Paris. But then another interesting point about that song, and we talk about it in the show, is that maybe she was also referring to her two loves, maybe her love of men and women, whatever. You know, there are rumors out there about her relationships and all. But J'ai deux amours is at the beginning of the show. And then the second song is called Dans le Village, where she speaks about her rainbow tribe of children. And she sings about how she wanted to create a family that embodied a world of where peace and love and diversity. And she did with her rainbow tribe. So
and again, the course of how many minutes are we talking for the show? Is it 2 acts?
It's two acts, 2 hours long. Then there's a 15-minute intermission. So it's 2 acts.
Okay, and so and we mentioned Harry Marone.
Yes, my friend Harry Marone.
Harry, of course, plays the piano, and you're looking very dashing there with your feathers.
Feathers, of course.
I'm assuming that's from a earlier iteration of the show.
Yes.
And so Harry has an essential part in terms of providing background for you, etc. But did he help you pick out some of the song selections as well?
He did not. But what he has done is he has a great ear for adding incidental music behind the script, which enhances all of the words. And that's something that he does. I didn't ask him to do it, but he did it, and it seems so natural. For example, when I'm talking about her being doing the Charleston and being in the 20s, he plays music from the 20s, and that in itself is such an added aspect of the show, because it's not just words and then music. It's an integration of his varied musical, and Harry has such a deep knowledge of musical styles that he can pull music from the 20s. He pulls music from all of his various experiences, and he's really such an amazing person to have on your team.
Yes,
I'm ever grateful for Harry Marone.
And Harry will be part of our Crescent City Theater Awards as well.
Oh, well, then I will.
He's going to provide the music accompaniment for the people who will be performing. I didn't mention Marshall Harris is going to be our MC.
Excellent.
So, and I believe Brian Batt is committed to coming as that goes for the night. We have him making one of the special presentations. So really looking forward to it. But
I will be there. I would be there.
Harry is a great performer, and of course very much at home at the National World War II Museum. He's the guy who works with all of the stage door idol contestants early on, helps do their music, etc. And of course the finals, he's usually in the audience watching and sometimes even contributing. I know this year he actually got up on stage and performed with one of the finalists because they wanted him to play the piano during the early parts of the first few weeks. They have just piano accompanied, and then the finals has the big band Victory 6 big band, the swing band. The problem, of course, is that some of those arrangements that Harry does might not be so easily rearranged or whatever. So in any event, he came on stage this year. It was great to see him perform, but in any event, he's at home. He's been on the stage there many times, and
not only that, but he plays at the wartime happy hour at the Higgins Hotel as well, which is fantastic.
So and again, I know he's got a number of other performers who are on the bill as well, and maybe you can fill me in on them as well. Let's see. I'm trying to see who else is. because I think I'd gone through that
Oh,
earlier.
the bass player is David Pulfus, and David has he played the last time we did this show. We also did this show at in Mississippi at the 100 Men Hall. We did it once in Algiers, but David Pulfus is an incredible bass player. And then on drums, we have Corey Walters, who's just a phenomenal drummer. And again, she is returning. So all of my players in the band are experienced with this show, and I'm happy to have them back again. I do have a surprise guest that did not appear in the last show. I don't want to give too much away. It's part of the surprise of the show, but there will be a surprise guest who wasn't there for the last show appearing in this particular rendition of Josephine Baker.
Okay, I know I had a picture of the performers on, but for some reason I don't think this is. There they are. There they are. I just couldn't see that they were. So he's on the bass players all the way on the right.
David Pulfus, that's right.
And then your drummers in the center.
Corey Walters.
And then you've got Harry, and then of course you on all the way on the left.
Yes.
Okay, good. I'm glad I finally got that right. And of course you perform how many songs in the show?
Oh, it's I guess it's about 13 or 14 songs. Ranging again from French songs like J'ai des amours and Dans mon village. I have a couple of musical theater songs. I Am What I Am from La Cage aux Folles. And I have a couple of jazz tunes like Some Cats Know, which is a great Peggy Lee song. I have a great Barbara Streisand song called Lady Liberty, which I found, and I found that it worked beautifully in the moment when I'm talking about Josephine being barred from when she had her visa removed, her American visa, and how she was considered no longer welcome in America. There's also Caravan by the great Duke Ellington, and there's a lot of songs, and it's cabaret, so it's cabaret, but it's scripted cabaret, which. I've done cabaret where it's a general theme, but I love doing these one-woman shows, highlighting fabulous, phenomenal Black women from history, and Josephine Baker is at the top of that list.
Well, you did do the Lulu White earlier. I'm just trying to think. Are there any? And of course, you've also been on the stage doing people like Donna Summer. It's very interesting. They did a show that the last thing you did was at the Orpheum, right? That I remember. And wasn't the what you worked down below?
It's down below. Have you ever been in that space?
Yeah, I have, but it was interesting because I think it was the symphony was doing something up above, and it was like 54 below, and they were above. It was very interesting. You were doing Donna Summer and some other stuff, right? And they were doing something. It was wild. I thought
you had the clash of the decades and the classical versus disco. I was doing a Studio 54 show. So
scrolling along the bottom there is the URL national www.museum.org/programs/Josephine-Baker-Creole-Goddess-Siren-Resistance. Now, again, you can go online there and see it that way, or you can just go to the National World War II Museum, click on BB Stage Door Canteen, and then it'll take you to the right links. Just make sure you scroll down enough to find out where it is.
And Alan, I do want to mention that we are offering a coupon. If you put in the code Baker, BAKER, you can get $5 off of the ticket price on either of the shows. There's 3 shows this weekend.
So the first show on the 17th is taking place at 7:00 at night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And then we have 2 shows in the afternoon, and I don't know if they're both at 2:00.
They're both at 2:00.
I think they are. And one is on the 18th, one is on the 19th. So you've got 3 opportunities, 2 matinees and 1 evening performance. And you and I both have mused that perhaps the Saturday night shows are not available. Maybe they're having it for another event or something like that on Saturday. Still, you've got 3 bites at this apple to go listen. If you missed out on seeing Josephine Baker the first time out, you'll be able to see it this time, the second time out. And it seems like it was just last year, but I guess you're right. It has been 2 years since they did it.
That's right.
And it was a great show when you did it then, and I'm sure it's going to be great when you do it again.
It'll be even better.
And you said there's going to be a special guest star
guest artist.
You cannot mention.
If you saw the show last time, you know that I within the first act do a little transformation, and I decided to do a little something different this time. So we're going to try something new for anybody who saw the show before and they want to come back. For those of you who haven't seen the show, you're in for quite a treat. Not just the script, not just the music, but you're in this beautiful theater. If you've never been to BB's Stage Door Canteen, the sound is fabulous. The lighting. I've also added this time. I've added a slideshow that highlights pictures that coordinate with the script. So it really is. I call myself an edutainer because you will be educated. If you didn't know anything about Josephine Baker and her incredible life, you will come out very well versed in this woman's life, and you'll also have a great time. You'll be entertained.
Now, in a lot of the shows that they offer, they do have food, etc. This is not one of those shows, right? They're not going to really be offering. I
believe they may for the matinees, because I know that the restaurant is open during that time. Now for the evening show, I believe the restaurant's closed. So perhaps for the matinee shows, the 2:00 shows, you could probably.
They should check. Now I do know that number by heart, 504-528-1943. So if anybody wants to go check it out, that would be the number to dial, 504-528-1943, because the main number is 1944, being the day for D-Day, obviously the year for D-Day, and when they had to get something from BB Stage Door Canteen, they got one number less. But it doesn't mean that it's less important. It just means that they wanted to have another number there. And it might have been also, an homage back to, when the Stage Door Canteen started in reality. I don't remember what year they started, but, we entered the war in essentially December 7th, 1941. And they may not have had so many of the Stage Door Canteens that were opened up until, maybe 43. But, it's possible they did have some in 42. But we'll see, whether or not, that's the reason. I'm not quite sure. Let me throw a couple of historic pictures you had of later in life Josephine Baker. And this is the one that I think I have that I wanted to put up.
Oh, yes. I believe that is from one of her final performances at the Babino Theater in Paris.
Yes. I think we
in 1975.
The last time, and she was not particularly long lived, was she? She died.
She died in 1975. So yeah. I mean, I think that was I think she was in her 70s. So
yeah, but still, I mean, by today's standards, in the 70s,
right.
I mean, obviously, you've got Marlene Dietrich, who lived to be in her 90s, et cetera. Right. And you did mention that she did have what we would call today, Panamoris. Is that right? She had many lovers, and
she had many lovers, and she was married 4 times. And I mean, she lived a very open, sexual, passionate life, and she married many people, and she she had a reputation for being forward with her loves and being not being shy about what she wanted and who she wanted to be with.
Right. Do you think that the fact was she was in Europe, she could get away with a lot more of it than they could in the United States?
Yes, I think so. I mean, not only did she get away with, not just get away with, but she was able to achieve stardom, and she was very rich, and she was able to, when you're that level of celebrity and you have that much money, you can also get away with a lot more, and people are more accepting, of course, in Europe. So she had all of those things going for her. Celebrity, wealth, mystery, and the freedom to maybe to make some choices that she wouldn't have been able to make in America.
Well, a fascinating character, and I know you do a great job translating her onto the stage. And Denise Altobello and you have brought her back to life, which is fantastic. And again, I hope that people will take advantage of what you're doing on the stage, because it really is a very important piece, I think, for people to understand who Josephine Baker was, and also to know that she was a real hero. She wasn't just somebody who was a figure on stage that people could emulate. I mean, she put her life on the line.
She risked her life to fight
what she believed in, and so that's nothing more important than the stories that are curated at the National World War II Museum. I mean, no more than those brave people who were fighting on the field. That she was doing similar work, but behind the scenes.
Correct.
And again,
such a strong advocate for the civil rights movement as well. Speaking, at the March on Washington. I mean, just whenever you think there's not more she could do, there's something else. She's just a fascinating character in history.
Well, I know that there are a bunch of people who probably haven't had a chance to see the show, and we'd encourage them to try to get tickets now, because one of the things about BB Stage Door Canteen is that it is a smaller venue, and if you or your groups are interested in going, a lot of times they can accommodate big groups very, very well. If anybody's having a birthday, a celebration, or something like that, they do a great job in terms of noting that. If they are going to have the buffets on the matinees, that's a great way to celebrate too. So
Right.
Keep that in mind as well. And again, October the 17th, 18th, and 19th, Josephine Baker from Creole Goddess to Siren of the Resistance at BB Stage Door Canteen. I know that you're going to do your level best to sell that venue out, but we're going to try to help you as well. Again, Harry Marone doing the musical direction, and the piece is written by Denise Altobello. I think it's really a great shot again in the arm for local performers. A lot of times the BB Stage Door Canteen brings people from outside of New Orleans to perform on the stage, because they're sort of a given commodity. And it's wonderful when we get to have somebody who's a local performer to be able to perform on a local stage and do just as effective and as good a job as any of those people who are coming in making national tours. So I appreciate all that you do. And again,
Thank you, Alan.
I remember back in the day when you used to work as a cocktail waitress at Le Chat Noir, because I think you had your heart in cabaret a long time ago. You liked being there, even if you couldn't perform. You could take a drink order and watch. And again, you went to the Yale conference. What year was that?
Oh gosh, I went twice. I went in like 2012 and maybe like 2009.
And now the person who was the guy in charge of that, he passed away, right?
He passed away, yes.
And are they still doing it nowadays, or is it different?
I think they are doing a version of it, yes. It's not the same as it used to be, but they are doing a similar version.
I think Jefferson Turner went one year.
Jefferson Turner went.
I think Amy
Rich
Alvarez
Ono went. Jesse Terrebonne.
Yes.
I'm missing someone. Amy Alvarez, I believe.
Yes.
So yeah, a lot of our local performers.
I only wish that we, had that conduit going on again. We don't really have a great cabaret place here in New Orleans.
That is a major loss.
Yeah.
For our city.
And again, I know people say, well, it's not really theater, but it is a form of an homage to theater.
It is.
And it really is an art form in and of itself. I really know that those people who were trained in the Yale conference really, were steeped in it. And I really appreciate the fact that people like you, who came out of it, are
still doing it.
Still doing it now. Okay. Anyway, appreciate your being on the show tonight. And again, I would encourage everybody to please make it a point to go see this show before it closes, October 17th, 18th, and 19th. And again, I want to thank you, Anaïs, for being with us. And again, anybody who wants to go should go. Don't missed the show this time out. It's been 2 years in coming back.
Yes.
We don't know if they're going to make it anytime soon after that. So check it out. Again, I'm going to say goodnight to everybody, but Anaïs, stay with me just for a little bit. Again, this is Alan Smason, your host for NOLA Theater Talk. Again, I appreciate you watching us on the NOLA Theater Folk Facebook group, the theatercriticism.com Facebook page, and my own YouTube channel. And I'm not quite sure if we're going to have a show next week or whatever. We're trying to just do as many of these as we can when it becomes obvious that we can do it. There are a number of shows that are on the boards right now or finishing up that you should check out. Some really interesting work. The play, the Lehman trilogy, is on at Le Petit Theater, and I recommend people go see that if you can. It's a 3-hour plus play, 3 acts with 2 10-minute intermissions. So you've got to be in there for the long haul. But very interesting work. It won the best play in 2022 for the Tonys. So again, great work being done there. And we also saw Frankenstein, done by the NOLA Project, a wonderful, very creative piece by Pete McElligott, who has done so much great work with the NOLA Project before. He did the Adventures in Wonderland and also the Lieutenant of Innisfree, I believe, years ago. Just an amazing work. This takes Frankenstein and makes it a lot less scary and a lot more funny. Take my word for it. If you want to have a great time out, go check out the NOLA Project at the Greenway. I guess where the old vehicle inspection center used to be. You can figure out where that is. And again, I do recommend you go check that out. And again, that's pretty much it for me right now. Again, I encourage you to go see the show that we mentioned earlier with Anaïs St. John, starring in Josephine Baker, from Creole Goddess to Siren and the Resistance. And until next time, I'll see you at the theater.